and a tier lists. So here are all of the Minecraft biomes. So as you can see, it's not just the overworld, they also included the nether and the end. There's a lot of biomes within Minecraft already, and at the same time, like there's also sub biomes, like not just the Badlands, they even have wooded and eroded. They also included like jungles such as bamboo and spars. They even included some oceans, which is usually kind of unique for my own opinion. Usually rank them by land, but they also included ocean. I really like it. So enough of the talking, and let's go into the video. So let's start off with the Badlands. So the Badlands, overall, I think, in my own opinion, it's a meh biome, since like when you spawn in, I really don't like to get spawned in into the Badlands, since like you couldn't get a lot of resources, like finding food, getting wood. All you just gonna get like some dead bushes to get some sticks. Although they do have good loot, such as finding the caves, finding iron, diamond. It would kind of easy for you. It's great for exploration, but overall, it's kind of a meh, since it's not really a good spawn point at the start. It's a good for exploration. You can find some resources, valuable resources, but that's just for the mid to late game areas. Same goes to the wooded badlands. It's kind of a meh. However, the wooded badlands, they contain a lot of trees. So once you get spawned in, at least you can get a tree somewhere in that biome. So I'll just put it in okay. Okay. Food, it would kind of be like a problem a bit, since there's barely any animals spawning in for you to get some food. The mobs, the mobs are kind of okay. Difficult for you to like maneuver the terrain, since like there's so many so many hills, so many like elevated areas for you to like really need to put in the effort in order for you to escape the mobs or something. For the eroded badlands, I'll just also put this in meh. Similar to badlands, I think that the eroded badlands are also bad at spawn, good for like getting like caves, good for exploration. It's also pretty bad at like finding food on there. But I'm just gonna put it in meh, since it's eroded baldlands and badlands are kind of the same. So the desert, I would actually put as trash. Like when you get spawned into the desert, the spawned into the desert, what I've noticed is that like you barely couldn't get in food. Sure, you can get some rabbit, but like at the same time, the rabbits would attack you. You'll get some a couple of sticks and some sand, but at the same time, you couldn't like use it as for stacking or for bridging, since sand would fall off. Now for Savannah, I would actually put this in amazing, since hear me out. Savannah, it's lushful, which means there are gonna be mobs spawning in. And at the same time, we also got trees. We also could also potentially find a water source over there. And especially like I really like the wood. I really like the woods, like like Savannah. They have acacia. I really like it. Okay, so sorry. Like it. Although the miner is maneuvering, but I find it as an amazing one. Now, the sand sweep shattered savanna, I would also put this in amazing. When you spawned in that biome, there's a lot of resources that you could take already. You could find find a cave, you can find trees, there's even a water source, lava source. However, the only biggest problem for you is like to come down. I really want to put this in perfect, but it's not it's not there. It's not there yet. And at the same time, like the sandswept or the shattered savanna, they have a lot of like elevated areas for you to like find it awkward to build, and because I prefer a more plain side. So I'll just put it's amazing. A lot of great things have happened in Savannah, in this shattered Savannah. Same goes with Savannah. Many resources. You can find the waters. Mobs is not really that hard, and the only downside is that like it's very elevated, and the mobs, since they might be appearing in caves. Now, Stony Peaks, I would say it's okay. Okay, let's just put this in okay. So Stony Peaks are okay in my own opinion, since like it does gives you a lot of cobblestone, especially some coal, iron, even some copper. But who cares about copper? Some people. But Stony Peaks are a great like great exploration, but I think it's a very bad spawn point. I think it's a bad spawn to get spawned in Stony Peak, since like where are you going? You couldn't find any wood. You barely you barely see any animals on there, and at the same time, once it's like nighttime, it would kind of be a struggle for you since the mobs. Now for jungle, I think this is a good one. The thing with the jungle is that it's very lushful, same as the savannah. And at the same time, it also gives you a lot of wood, a lot of food. However, the biggest problem is that like since the jungle is contains a lot of trees, it's hard for you to like maneuver, especially you're trying to escape for your first day, dodging all of the mobs, the zombies, skeletons. And I also remember the time that like I got stuck and got blown up by a creeper. So like it's a good biome. It could be amazing. However, it's still on good since the maneuvering, finding place for you to like build your own house, and at the same time the mobs would be an annoyance. Now bamboo jungle, I'll also put this in good. Now the bamboo jungle is that similar to jungle, it's a good starting point. It's a good spawn point. Have a lot of resources, animals such as the cow, pigs, sheep. They're gonna spawn there naturally a lot better. Food isn't an issue. Water isn't an issue. However, at the same time, maneuvering. I also got killed by a spider. Killed by a spider in the bamboo jungle since like I tried getting up to one of the tall trees, but of course the mobs would be a hassle. That's why I'll just gonna put it in good. The same as now sparse jungle. I would put this in amazing because the sparse jungle, although there's a lot of maneuverings, you will eventually find like a lot more spacious, a spacious type of sparse biome or whatever. It's a lot more spacious for you to like at least build your house or even start your starting house. Now at spawn, it's pretty good, but at the same time, like, not really that good. Now, Mushroom Island, when it's island, I would probably say like it's okay, since Mushroom Island is a very rare biome that like when you found it, it is amazing. It is an amazing biome for you when you found Mushroom Island, but spawning in Mushroom Island would be kind of an issue since like you'd still need to find like your way out. Like where would you go? Like where do you find where do you find wood? Where would you go? Since like Mushroom Island is like thousands of blocks away, hundreds away to the nearest like green islands or greenest shores. So that would be kind of a hassle. That's why I just put it in okay. Although I like the mushrooms, it is a hassle. Now the ocean, I would put this in meh. Now the ocean is a good source. It's a good source for like fish, finding treasures, but at the same time you have to deal with the drowned. You have to deal with like the elder guardians, in which that is the biggest problem. At the same time, you don't want to get spawned by the ocean. Like it's a very bad biome to get spawned in because like where would you go? Where is the nearest island or the nearest shore? Same goes to the warm ocean. Ocean. Although warm ocean, you can see clearly more and you can see like coral reefs, but at the same time, drowned, the drowned, finding land, finding wood, that is a hassle also. Unless if you're near for a shipwreck, then wouldn't be a, it wouldn't be much more a problem. But still, ocean and warm ocean, very bad for like if you get spawned in. But if you try to have fish, maybe explore, it's kind of good. So just put in meh. Now the river, I think this is a perfect. Now here's the thing, getting spawned in the river. Well, it's not really much of an issue. Really much of an issue since like there will be a there will be a land or a shore nearby so that you can just like swim across and at the same time you also got like a free water source. And usually comes to rivers, you can really see them in like greenish areas such as plains, such as like jungles or a groups of islands, and that's pretty important for your survival since at least it will help you go to get some wood, find caves. It's a really useful full navigation system. I remembered back then that like I have a house nearby a river so that once I'm trying to explore somewhere else, I could find a way to like, yeah, this is my place and I'm good to go there. Now the beach, I think this is a meh. Now the beach is that although it has some sand, sometimes we'll get like some grass and some trees around here. But like it's not really my cup of tea. Like there's something that makes me feel like I don't want to like spawn. I prefer other elves. But it's a great it's a great place for you to build your own house. It's a great place to just get spawned in since you can get resources. Actually, just gonna put it in okay. I think it's an okay biome. Okay, bye. There's water, no need to worry about it. The mobs, no need to worry about it. Wouldn't be a problem since like the space, since beach is very spacious. And that would be all to say for the beach. It's pretty much an okay biome. Now a stony shore, I would put this in good. Now the thing is that Stony Shore is a very it's a really good place for you to like explore. Although it is very bad to get spawned in a Stony Shore, it's a very good place for you to like get a lot of materials such as cobblestone, iron, coal. You could pretty much extract that whole island, and at the same time, it's a very good place for you to like create your own mines about there. However, I'm not gonna put it like in amazing or perfect since it's a very bad type of spawn point since you couldn't see or you barely see any trees, barely see any animals, and at the same time the mobs would be a problem. Now the plains, perfect. Let's move it on. This plains perfect. I really like plains. Great place. Wait. There's even sunflower plains. I'm just gonna put it in amazing. The thing is that I'll just put this in amazing and sunflower plains in perfect. Now the thing is that in plains and sunflower plains is that they are both a great spawn point since like you could pretty much see everywhere and you might encounter a trees that you can like get some wood, and at the same time there's a lot of animals out there. Since it's an open space, you could even build a proper house there, maybe find some cave somewhere there, but it wouldn't be such an issue. Sunflower plains, I really like sunflower plains since there's some sunflowers for me to decorate my whole area, such as my house if I ever built there. But those two plains, those two biomes, they're very great for like building for your own starter houses, and at the same time when it comes to nighttime, it wouldn't be such an issue since like you can pretty much see everywhere, and when you rush to your home wouldn't be a problem. Now for swamp, I would put this as okay. Now the swamp, don't get me wrong. There are wood, there are animals for you to like get some food, some resources, but at the same time like you might encounter a witch house in which like you don't want that to ever happen, like unless if you're able to kill the witch. I wouldn't like to get spawned in a swamp. It's an okay, it's an okay biome, but I prefer other else. Like I prefer other biomes, and at the same time, they're objectively better biomes than swamp. Now the mangrove swamp, I would also put this in okay. Although wood, water source, animals, not not really a problem. Same time, just like the swamp, you still need to maneuver everything, risking yourself drowning. But at the end of the day, like it's an okay biome for you to explore. It's also an okay for you to get spawned in and get some loot. Now the dark oak dark oak forest, and this is good since you could find some mushrooms there. Find some mushrooms. You can encounter moonlit mansions, and at the same time, it's a really good spawn point. Similar to like jungle, dark oak forest. When you get spawned in, there's a lot of resources has been given to you. A lot of like stone, a lot of like caves, a lot of wood for you to like very much start. But at the same time, it's not really great for you to like just stay there and live there since you're you're just gonna spend most of your time like jumping through tree to tree, which is not my cup of tea. Now the pale garden. I haven't really encountered it, the Pale Garden, but but I think it would be a really good biome. However, I still haven't encountered it. I'll just put this in like okay. Based from what I've looked from this like image, it's pretty sad. It gives off like an eerie type of vibe. But I think that I also heard that there's also like a mob that would also be very hostile for you. So I'll just put this in okay. Like you just have to watch your back. But based from what I've seen or heard, I think it's a bad spawn point, but it's a really good exploration point. Like for you to hunt down mobs or somewhere, explore the place. It would be really good. But spawning, no. Now the forest, this is also perfect. This is an S tier. Since the forest, just like pretty much like the jungles, the dark or forests, the forests, although they contain a lot of like trees, a lot of cobblestone for you to start. There are even a lot of animals. You could even find a water source for you to get some water. The thing is that the forest offers you a wide variety of wood so that when you want to design your house, you would pretty much have a variety, not just like one singular such as the dark oak forest, where like just only dark oak, while forest contains oak, birch, like that. And at the same time, like although it's forest, you wouldn't be a problem for you to like spawn or like find spawn in, and at the same time if you try to explore there, it's not really much of an issue. Now the flower forest, I'll also put this in perfect since I like flowers, guys. Flowers. Same with the forest. However, I'm just gonna put this a lot more. So flower plains, flower forest, river, and forest. Now the flower forest. The thing with the flower forest is that I really like flowers, guys. I've been repeating what I said. I really like flowers. And at the same time, resources, and also the mobs. It would kind of be not that really hard for you to deal with, just trying to outmaneuver somewhere. But it's really good. Now the birch forest, for all the Kamen 18ers, um, whether you like it or hate it, I think it's an amazing biome. Since like it's not really that bad. Not really that bad. Since birch still give you wood, still give you like resources, would encounter a water source, some food, and for the mobs, not really much of a problem. You could try to outmaneuver it. Same with the forest or the sparse jungle, but it's nearly perfect since spawning in, there's some times that like you might get stuck. Now the meadow. Now this one, I also consider this as an S tier biome since the meadow is a very open space, but at the same time it also contains some trees around. So finding trees, finding food, would it be a problem? At the same time, meadows have elevated areas, so if you try to find other places that contains like caves or stones, you could just go up to the top of the meadows and try to look for some caves around there, and would it be a problem? Now the cherry grove, I love cherry grove since it's very unique, and I'm willing to put it in like perfect. It gives you a lot of wood, a lot of wood. It's just sometimes spawned in like, although in elevated areas, at least you can see some areas have rivers rivers beside them. So Cherry Grove, I'll put this in my perfect, in my own opinion. Like I really love Cherry Grove. Dappled Forest, still I haven't encountered just like the Pale, but based on what I've seen in the image, I think it's a pretty good biome. Like when you spawned in, you'll be greeted with like a lot of wood, a lot of mobs, I think. So food wouldn't be a problem. Spawning there is not an issue. Exploring is pretty great. But like, there's some, but like, there's something that like, I haven't really gone to the Dapple Forest, so I cannot really say a lot. The taiga. Now the thing is that the thing about taiga, I think it's an okay or good or okay. I'll just put in good. I'll be positive for a while. Now the taiga forest, still spawning in, you'll be greeted with a ton of resources, food, wood, maybe encountering a cave, not be an issue, but at the same time you're just there to like get out. So it's a good starting point, but nothing else. It's like there's nothing really stands out with taiga. Mega taiga on other hand, I think it's like slightly better, but I'll just put this in good. Slightly better. Since like the Mega Taiga still the same. It offers resources sources, but at the same time you're just there to just like escape and find a place for where you build your own house. Your own house. And Mega Taigas, I would give them benefit that like there are some Mega Taigas that contain some water for you to like fish, or maybe like try to find a place for you to explore and find a place for you to like build your own house or something. But majority of the fact that you're just there for you to like, nah, I'm just gonna go away. Now for the extreme hills or the windswept. Now the windswept or extreme hills, I'll just put this in like meh. I'll put this in meh since like when you get spawned in, although there's some a couple trees here and there, getting cobblestone would not be a problem. Not be a problem. But like you're in a elevated area where there's barely any place for you to like really build unless if you want to build like a hanging house or somewhat. And at the same time, still, it's a good place for you to explore. And at the same time, the mobs, kind of a hassle, but not really that much. Went there one time and kind of a good. I kind of get a good view right there. Now the Gravelly Hills, I'll put this in bad. It's only the thing about the gravel, the gravelly hills is that if your main point is to find flint, then I think that like that is only the good thing because spawning in would be bad, fi- finding resources would be bad, fought fighting mobs would also be a hassle since gravel would fall. So like if you try to stack up, you need to really stack up a lot. Now snowy plains, I think is also bad. Like I really like the snowy plains, but I'll just put this in bad. In my opinion, it's a very bad spawn since like what resources can you really get there other than like a few trees here and there? You cannot get water. At the same time, you'll encounter some polar bears that's trying to attack you. Attack you. And speaking with polar bears, we have ice spikes. I'll just also put this in bad. I want to put this in trash, but like I'll give the benefit of the doubt that it's bad since the thing with ice spikes that I wouldn't put this in trash since because it's a very good exploration view. So I wouldn't say like yeah I don't like to go there. I like to go there actually, but get spawned there pretty much a nightmare. Now we have the frozen river. Now the thing is that the frozen river, I would put this in meh because the frozen river, as you can see in the image, there are trees, so you can get some wood. So when you spawn in, automatic there's some wood. But at the same time, it is also hassle since you're dealing with like polar bears and at the same time like you couldn't find a lot of food. And what if like it goes nighttime and you're gonna fight off like all the hordes of mobs coming at you? So I'll just put this in meh. It's a pretty like nice to explore there, but not really much. Frozen Ocean also meh. Also meh. Great for exploration, very bad for spawning in. Since like where can you get the resources? It's a very bad start. Very bad start. Now the Grove, at least it is okay since the Snowy Grove offers you trees, offers you a bit of resources for you to like keep going and move on. But still, still, there's barely any food, and when nighttime comes, it would kind of be a difficult time. Since what if you might fall to like a snow, fall into like some powdered snow, so you have to be careful, and you might die from hypothermia or suffocating. Now the snowy slopes, I'll put this in trash. Like bad for like fine. It's very bad for you to get spawned in since there's barely any trees. There's barely any resources found there. At the same time, like where would you go anyways? Anyways, for it doesn't also offer as much as exploration since like everything is barren, so you just pretty much just trying to walk there just to get from point A to point B. Now the snowy taiga, I would put this in as okay. It's not as good as taiga since in taiga the taiga has some lush is very lushful, so like there is chance that there are more mobs such as the pigs, the cows, and sheep for you to spawn in and get some food and get some bed. However, snowy taiga, same goes as the grove. It is snowing, great, great to finding wood, but food would be an issue right here. An issue right here. For exploration, snowy taiga is also like grove where you're just gonna go from point A to point B, and overall it's a okay biome. Frozen Peaks, I want to put this in like bad, but at the same time, like I'll just put this in meh since what's saving the Frozen Peaks is that it's a really great place for you to like, excuse me, to explore the area, and at the same time you could get like a very nice view. But if you get spawned in, find some resources, fending off mobs, that would be a hassle. That would be a nightmare. Jagged Peaks, I would also put this in meh, since it's also pretty great as Frozen Peaks, Ice Spikes, where it where great for exploration, but you're just gonna cross over there from point A to point B. Point B. Spawning in is a nightmare. Finding off like polar bears would also be a hassle. So I'll just put it in meh. Now we have go to the dripstone cave. I haven't really explored the dripstone cave, but I wait, I did. Oh wait, I did explore the dripstone cave. I would put this in like meh. When you spawn in like a dripstone, when you really like spawn into dripstone cave, you don't have wood for you to like get a pickaxe or somewhat, and at the same time, if you're in a dark place, mobs would come at you. At the same time, you also need to watch out to all of those dripping stones that's trying to like kill you. It's great for exploration, like maybe you can find a possible mine shaft, but that's pretty much it. Lush cave, I would put this in the benefit of a doubt. Like I'll put this in okay. Like it sounds weird, like I'm putting it over like Windswept and Frozen River, but hear me out. It's a very bad place for just one, but it's a really nice place for you to explore. Like it's very lushful. You could find some like food, find some flowers over there. You can find some find you can find a lot of unique things in the lush cave for you to like. Yeah, I just want to collect some things for me to like get as decorations. But it is a very bad place for you to spawn in. But I'll give this okay since I really like the decorations. Now for sulfur caves, I'll put this in okay since again as I'll say my pale garden and dappled forest, sulfur caves. I haven't explored it at least. I haven't explored it not even once. But based on what I've looked, it's a pretty cool cave. Dark, but spawning in would be a nightmare since, or it'd be bad since, like, where would you go? There's no wood unless you go to an abandoned mine shaft, and at the same time, you're dealing off with mobs. So, I'll just put in deep dark, absolutely bad. I couldn't put in trash since, like, in, since when you're in the deep dark, it's like you're spawning in at the boss level. Like, so you're telling me that I will just spawned in and I have to fight off the warden? I don't want that. Want that. Plus, there's barely any loot for you to like get. Like you can get wood, you can craft something. But it's a great place for you to like explore or to really find a warden. And it's really nice for you to like, yeah, I really want this place. Like I really want to defeat the warden. I really want to loot this place. It's a it's a really nice bio, but like spawning in, finding resources, it is very bad. Really, really bad. Like very low. Now let's get on to the nether. So we got the nether waste. Now for the nether waste, if let's say like you're in a nether portal, somewhat geared up and going there. For nether waste, I would probably say I'll just put this in like meh. Since since once you get off to now just maybe I'll just put it in okay. Since we just spawned in the nether and you go to nether waste, at least it's the best. I think it's like the best place for you to like explore. Since there's some a bit of mushroom, the there's although there are mobs, like there's some piglins, they don't really attack you yet. So not really a problem. So I'll put it in okay. Now the Crimson Forest, I'll put this in good. I'll put this in good. Good. The thing about the Crimson Forest that just try for me I just try to avoid the mobs or if I encounter some piglins or hoglins, I'll try to make sure that I am not attacking them so that I am safe and at the same time they also have wood for you to like yeah I can craft some blocks, I can craft some like structures in order for me to cross from one area to another. So not real problem. Now the warp forest, I would put this in like a better good. I'll put this above Crimson Forest, since although although Green Forest, Warp and Crimson Forest are similar, excuse me, similar. I really like the look of the Warp Forest. Like the biome itself, it looks very nice. Although you're gonna deal some Enderman there, but other than that, not really a problem. Exploring, it's not really a problem. The Soul Sand Valley, I'll just put this in meh. I will just put this in okay. Since the Soul Sand Valley, there's not much to offer other than like mobs, but like Soul Sand Valley, I think it's really uh it's really an okay really an okay biome, since explore, you can look around it, like it gives you a sense of like, yeah, this is also the damned. And our last one in the nether is the basalt deltas. Now if you got spawned in the basalt deltas, I really don't like this. I'll just put this in bad, since like when you get spawned, there's a there's it's quite like spiky. Like the biome is spiky. You need to like do parkour for you to like travel from one place to another. In which like I don't really want that to like always do that one. Same time you have to watch your step, and you might encounter some magma magma blocks. So that would be a problem also. Now let's go on to the end. Now for the end. So when you spawned in, I think it's an okay. May I just put this in good? The end is a good biome since like it captures the feeling of like, yeah, this is the end. You're gonna fight the Ender Dragon for you to really like survive. To like until you can go out the overworld. Although think although the Endermen are gonna be like a problem. The biggest problem that you will deal is the Ender Dragon. And since there's a ton of ways for you to defeat the Ender Dragon, so I think that it's not really much of a problem. So the end, it's a very good biome. I really like to explore it, and it's a real nice place for you to like turn it into like a very unique like headquarters or somewhat. And the last one is the End Islands. Now I would put this above the end or above in a lot of areas. I'll put this in amazing, since the End Islands, they contain a lot. In the End Islands, there's a lot of islands that is just floating around the end, and you might encounter some end castles, some shulkers, endermites, endermen. But I think it's a pretty nice place for you to like explore. Even getting the elytra, even getting a lot of loot, which is pretty cool, pretty sick if you ask me. So I think this is the end. These are all of my this is all the tier lists of every biomes that I have made. Comment down below, like and subscribe, and see you all in the next video. Thank you guys for really watching for my very first video. This is Aurora Venus, aka AV, and see you next time. Goodbye!